Hey everyone, it's untapyourgo, and today we are revisiting the Colorless deck. What we're trying to do is the same thing with the Forsaken Monument. We're trying to get this into play as soon as possible and then just start going off with our mana base. Except last time I built a colorless rainbow deck and I kept all 5 colors of basics just so Solemn had a target to tutor. But what if we just took Solemn out of the deck? So by doing that, we can make an entire 24 land board of colorless lands as well as an entire board of colorless permanents. So let's break this down really quick. In the mana base, we have Bonders Enclave to draw cards, Crawling Barrens to animate into a creature, Field of Ruin to blow up our opponent's lands, especially Crawling Barrens, a Labyrinth of Skophos to be able to interact with our opponent's creatures during combat, Radiant Fountain to gain some life, and all 4 copies of Throne of Makindi because we are playing Skyclave Relic in the deck, as well as Myriad Construct, so we can actually store some mana into this if we need to over the course of the game, and be able to play our kick spells and get the additional mana. In the top deck, we have Ugin, of course. We're trying to get to Ugin. That's essentially what this deck does. It's one of the only things this deck does, but it does do it very well. So if we can get to Ugin, wipe their board, every single thing on our side of the field is going to stay, and hopefully that'll be enough to win the game. Then into the early game with the aggression, we have all 4 copies of Gingerbrute so we can make it unblockable and swing in for 3. We have all 4 copies of Locthwain Gargoyle because it's a good mana sink in the late game. We have a copy of Soul God Lantern. This is just to draw a card, but it's also nice to have in case we need to nuke our opponent's graveyard. We have all 4 copies of Stonecoil Serpent. This is a nice creature because it scales throughout the game. It's good turn 1 all the way through turn 10, and it has reach and trample and protection for multicolored. So it trades with the rogues very well. We have 3 copies of Golden Egg to be able to draw some cards and gain some life, as well as 2 copies of Mazemind Tome to be able to find some land drops. Then we have 2 copies of Palladium Myr. This is so we can tap for some mana. We have a copy of Shambling Suit because we are playing a lot of artifacts. We are playing all 4 copies of Skyclave Relic because we are playing the kicker land. And this is honestly, in my opinion, a better mana rock right now than Palladium Myr because there's a lot of targeted removal. So Palladium Myr, it's not very common that you'll play him and he'll even live to see the next turn. So having a Skyclave Relic, even if they had artifact removal, it's indestructible, so they can't kill it anyway. We have 2 copies of Skyscanner. This is basically just a draw card, but in the late game, when we have our Forsaken Monument, it is a 3/3 for 3 with flying, so that's decent. And then we have the 4 copies of Myriad Construct. What this does is when it's targeted, which there's a lot of targeted removal in today's current standard, we sacrifice it, and then it becomes essentially like a hangerback walker and just makes a bunch of constructs. They don't fly, but we can kick it for 3 additional mana. So for 7, we can play it, and it comes in with a counter for each non-basic land our opponents control, which is going to be a lot because there's a lot of non-basics in this format. And then we have the Forsaken Monument. So this is going to allow us to give all of our creatures +2/+2, all of our permanents that tap for colorless mana, tap for an additional colorless. Now, it doesn't work with the Skyclave Relic like it does with the Palladium Myr, so there is that drawback. Palladium Myr would tap for 3 mana, where Skyclave Relic only taps for the 1. And last but not least, it gains us 2 life whenever we play a colorless card, which the entirety of the deck is, so hopefully that's going to give us a nice incremental source of life gain throughout the game. And that's the deck. I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to try it out. And please consider leaving a like and a comment on today's video. I'm trying to get 10 likes on today's video, as well as hit the subscribe and the bell for notifications. And let's take us into some games and grind out our opponents to dust with Ugin and Forsaken Monument. Well, our opening hand is okay, and we're on the play, so I'm going to try it out. Get down the Radiant Fountain, so we're already ahead. Doji Dave. Up against some form of Rakdos. So they could be playing like a sacrifice deck. They could be playing, you know, they could just be playing Rakdos aggro. There's a lot of things. It could be, well, I guess we'll just play the Crawling Barrens. Doesn't matter really what lands we play. They all come into play on tap, which is another good thing about these cards. There's Forsaken Monument. That's pretty good. Alright, opponent shocks the Gingerbrute. And this is exactly why I like having this card, because it also taps the turn it comes in over Palladium Myr, so you can follow up with something. This has a nice toughness, so our opponent can't shock it, and if this was a Palladium Myr, our opponent probably could just shock it. So, isn't this... Oh, I thought that rotated. I thought that was in guilds for some reason. It's weird. It's fine. So we're going to run out our Forsaken Monument, and that should honestly just be enough for game. Opponent gives us some draw. I'll take it. Alright, so our opponent decides to steal our gargoyle and then sacrifice it. That's a bummer. We gain life immediately back, and we have a pretty big Shambling Suit. And it's actually big enough for us to Bonders Enclave too. So that's cool. I think we just start dumping all of our mana into the Crawling Barrens, and that'll probably just be enough to take over the game. Rankle, huh? A bit of a bummer. They're gonna lose their Stormfist guy, so yeah, I don't think they thought about that one. So now, I mean, they can still make a sacrifice a creature, but they'd have to sacrifice their Rankle. Each player discards, huh? I'll discard another field room. I don't think I need it. Another Bonders Enclave is pretty cool. Do we have enough to just, like, win? We're on the opening play, and our hand is a little bit slow. So I think I'm going to mulligan. And this hand's way better, so I'll just bottom the Ugin, run it like this. I also made a few differences between the first game and this game. I went down 2 Field of Ruins to go up 2 Swamps because I realized that actually having Field of Ruin means I should probably be running at least a couple basics to be able to search for it. And then if our opponent's playing Field of Ruin themselves, we'll at least have a means to tutor up something and we're not just dead in water. And then I also went down 1 Skyscanner and I went down 1 Skyscanner and 1 Palladium Myr in exchange for 2 more Shambling Suits because it seems like it's actually pretty strong in this deck. I don't think we need it. Play the Skyclave Relic though. Keep the stop on our upkeep and pass it up. Yeah, so because I feel that not having basics at all sucks, I think Wizards needs to finally add wastes. It's an official basic land. It was introduced in the second to last Zendikar set that was released, and I think it actually would have been the perfect time to bring them back. I understand that their use was like, you know, specifically for the Eldrazi's and everything and all of those abilities, but if you're going to have colorless lands as an actual land, why not have it in this format so we can play Solemn and Field of Ruin and be able to tutor up colorless basics? Just, it seems rude to me, honestly. I'm going to put the swamp back because we don't want to draw that. Go into our main. So we have 5 mana. Opponent's playing no non-basics, so I think we just go ahead and run out the construct. And now we have a blocker. Okay, opponent sacrifices on the main phase, and they like what they see. Oh, there goes the Stonecoil Serpent. That's unfortunate. That's good for me. Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and play it. And I'm just going to pass it up. I don't think our opponents have any means of interacting with our artifacts outside of like creature removal. Sure. You got him. Ugin's good. 2, 4, 6, 8. And we have enough mana to play it, so. Does our opponent just scoop? Opponent's going to sacrifice in response. Now our opponent's in a lot of trouble. They can draw with the castle. Nightmare's cool. That's not bad. That draws us a card. I'll chain these all day. I want to try to find a Crawling Barrens. And this is fine too. Yes. Behold the power. The absolute monstrosity that is Forsaken Monument. This card is insane. Yep. Well, our opponent couldn't play a land, so good game, opponent. Is on the play, but our opening hand is pretty good, so we're gonna keep it. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. Seems pretty good. Dang, it feels good to be a Jedi. Opponent's holding a priority. Yep. So they played a Thieves Guild Enforcer, not realizing that I have a card I can play. Yep. Well, I still think we play the Golden Egg. That's not bad either. Opponent knows we have the Stonecoil Serpents, probably. Opponent gets in for the 1 and just passes it up. Doesn't seem to have anything. Throne of Makindi's good. They're probably holding a draw on the lock. So I think I'd still go for the Shambling Suit. Yep. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. So it's just rogues. And they're probably still playing counter magic, but we got lucky. Just outside of range of the Blood Chief's Thirst this turn, unless they have something else. They don't. Cool. So I like the Throne of Makindi here and the Myriad Construct. I'm gonna play this Stonecoil for 2. Put a storage counter on the throne, and then next turn we can kick the Myriad. Yikes. Yikes. Okay. No longer have a Stonecoil Serpent. That's pretty awkward. Why do I keep forgetting this card exists? It's like a almost better Ixalan's Binding or something. Like it's a counterspell version of Ixalan's Binding. Alright, let's get the Radiant Fountain for some life. can't even play the Stonecoil, which sucks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's actually still not enough to kick it either. No point in trying to kick it then. And they're hitting all of our goodies. I mean, an Ugin still saves us if we can get to it. Our opponent, like, counter... Or Ashiok's Erasured, the best card in our deck against them. That's crazy. It must really be good to be a Jedi. And there's Than. So they get back Ugin. Well, Ugin doesn't even really do anything. It just bolts. That's so good, but... Yep, opponent takes our Ugin. Alright, cool. So they're just gonna start killing off our dudes. Alright, so let's start drawing some cards. Let's scoop it up. Welcome back, everyone. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. And so today we went 2-1, which isn't too bad. Rogues is still a menace. We just can't seem to beat that deck, no matter what we do, no matter what we play. I mean, Ashiok's Erasure on our Stonecoil Serpent was like the best thing, and I'm pretty sure the only thing they could have done that would have like prevented us from standing any form of a chance. And they hit both of our Ugins in the grave, and they stole one. But aside from that, the deck ran exactly how I expected it to. Forsaken Monument is the card. It's definitely still nuts in this format. So again, trying to get 10 likes on today's video, so please like it if you haven't already, and please consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for watching.